you think before you would be willing to say that we're safe?
Well, I'd obviously have to have access to the most sensitive information that we've been able to gather. But the point is that despite what the president said, particularly during his re-election campaign about al-Qaeda, many of us have been saying that al-Qaeda is not only not decimated or on the run. In fact, they have now spread in the last 5 years all over North Africa and pose an enormous threat. Yes, we have killed off people, but al-Qaeda has shown an incredible ability to reconstitute itself and to tell the American people, as the president did during the presidential campaign, that, quote, al-Qaeda is on the run and decimated, that just simply is not substantiated by the facts.
Let me turn now to Russia, because there's a lot of news going around all around the world right now. The president, of course, canceling his one-on-one meeting with Russian President Vladimir Putin. Yesterday, Senator, you tweeted out a link, of course, that alluded to remarks that the president made during the campaign last year when he talked about how he wanted to deal with Russia, the issue of flexibility. Let me play you that clip from the president right now.
My last election, yeah. This time my election, I have more flexibility.
Then, of course, President Obama speaking with then-Russian leader Dmitry Medvedev, talking about flexibility. Do you think the president needed to be harder on Russia all along, and do you think canceling this meeting now goes far enough?
What I said back in 2008 campaign that I looked into Vladimir Putin's eyes and saw 3 letters, a K, a G, and a B. Look, this is an old line KGB apparatchik colonel that has dreams of...
I see 3 letters when I look in his eyes, too. N-W-O.
Of the old Russian Empire. The Russians have reset. They've reset, all right, back to about 1955. So we need to do a lot of things, not just cancel it, but we need to expand the Magnitsky Act. That is calling to account people who abuse human rights. We need to take Georgia into NATO. We need to have a free trade agreement with the Europeans so they won't be so dependent on Russian oil. There's a whole lot of steps we can take, and all of them we should take. It's not a confrontation. It is just a realistic approach to a country that is not acting in the interests of world peace or anybody else's except Vladimir Putin's desire to hold on to power.
Senator, let me continue to move around the world here. You just returned from Egypt with your colleague, Senator Lindsey Graham. You called the overthrow of Egyptian President Mohamed Morsi a coup. That caused quite a stir in Egypt. A presidential aide there said that you were distorting facts and your statements are unacceptable in form and substance. The current Egyptian president also accused you of interfering in internal affairs. How do you react to that?
Well, Senator Lindsey Graham and I know the Egyptian leadership very well. We have had contacts and relationships with them for many years.
Yeah, you have.
If you have a situation where a military takes over the government and puts in jail incommunicado the elected leadership of the country, then that it can only be described as a coup. Now, Morsi abused his power enormously. The people rose up in said in very strong terms that it was unacceptable. But the fact is that it was a coup. But the point is now is there's got to be a national dialogue and reconciliation. There's got to be release of some of these political prisoners. There's got to be a renunciation of violence, in fact, a condemnation of violence by the Muslim Brotherhood, or we're going to see blood in the streets of Cairo and Alexandria.
Finally, Senator McCain, I have to ask you about this. In an interview with Jay Leno, President Obama was describing your relationship now, which has seemed to have warmed over the last few years. He described it as something of a romantic comedy. Let's listen.
Is it me, or do I see kind of a bromance with you and John McCain? I remember you two had that lovers' quarrel for a while, and now you're you're best friends.
I mean, that's how.
What happened?
That's how a classic romantic comedy goes, right?
Really? Yeah.
He is a person of integrity. He is willing to say things regardless of the politics.
So, Senator, which romantic comedy do you think most clearly describes your relationship now? Are we talking When Harry Met Sally, Some Like It Hot here? I mean, how would you describe the relationship right now?
Given my age, how about Ralph Cramden, what was it, Honeymooners? Or maybe I Love Lucy. I don't know. Look, the point is, I want to work with the president where the nation's interests are at stake, and we can work together. There are other areas, such as we just described, Syria, where I think it's been shameful that 100,000 people have been massacred, and we've stood by and watched it. I think that the people
Quit giving them money and missiles.
And the United States want us to work together where we can, but I think it being in the loyal opposition, that I will fight as hard as I can for the things that I stand for and believe in. But there is a demand on the part of the American people of us to work together where we can work together. And I want to do that, and I think that that's what I was sent to do.
Senator McCain, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate being with us.
Thank you.
Why did he laugh? Fucking
And
weirdo.
we just learned that President Obama will have a news conference tomorrow afternoon, or Ralph Cramden, as Senator McCain likes to call him. We're still waiting for the time of the president's news conference, but CNN will carry it live. Coming up here now, more